What is going on, everybody? Welcome to my Week 6 Saints versus Jaguars preview video as the Saints go into this game with a whopping 4-1 record, and the Jaguars, coming off of a loss to the Carolina Panthers, are now 2-3. Now, this is the first time the Jags are going to be home for a while. They are just now getting off of a 2-game road stint as they get 1-1 in that road stint. The most recent game at home was the Thursday night game against the Tennessee Titans. So we're going to look to rebound after last week with another NFC South opponent. This is another game where, just like last week, where at the beginning of the season you expected it to be Cam Newton versus Nick Foles. This game you're expecting Drew Brees versus Nick Foles, but instead we get Teddy Bridgewater and Gardner Minshew. Both quarterbacks doing very well for their teams. Of course, Teddy Bridgewater has a 3-0 record as a starter for the Saints, and Gardner Minshew is currently 2-2. Both quarterbacks have been looking good, and they got their teams rolling. So this game is going to be a fun one. I will be going to this game, and the Jaguars, it's not necessarily going to be a must-win game for the Jaguars, but really for the Jaguars, I think to make the playoffs, I think the best way to do it is going to be by winning the AFC South, and I think the magic number is going to be 10-6. So the Jaguars are going to have to find a way to get 8 more wins before the season concludes. So this is a big game. It's going to be a home game, and really some keys to this game, man. Last week, Christian McCaffrey killed us. Christian McCaffrey absolutely killed us. And this week, we have a running back from the same exact draft class of the 2017 draft class who is pretty elusive as well with Alvin Kamara. So we've got to find a way to fix the rushing game. I mean, we allowed over 200 rushing yards against us last week. The linebackers between Miles Jack and Quincy Williams were not very good. Quincy Williams was at the point where he actually got benched. And it wasn't a good scene. So they had to play a lot better this game. Really just the run defense this game has to be a lot better. Linebackers have to be in better positions. And the interior of the defensive line, especially with Marcel Darris. Marcel Darris has to step up his game too. So that's going to be a big thing this game. The Saints, as good as Christian McCaffrey was and as good as the Panthers offense was, these guys have even more weapons on their team with the Saints. I mean, they got Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, obviously. They also have Latavius Murray back there at running back, Traquan Smith. They've got a really good offense and just a lot of weapons. So luckily, as much crap I've talked about Jalen Ramsey will be. It looks like he's going to be back this week. Apparently, him and Shad Khan have kind of mended things. I don't know what that means, but he's been back at practice. He's likely to play on Sunday. So, as much as Jalen Ramsey frustrates me, he does make the Jaguars better. I'm a fan of him on the field when he's out there playing and when he's not, bitching at the coaches after not challenging something. But he'll be back this game, so I'll definitely be. It makes us better. Jalen Ramsey on the field makes us a better team. So hopefully he's just got his head on straight and, all the distractions are behind him. But with this game, another thing is with the offense has been rolling, especially in the pass game. But the offensive line play has to clean up a little bit. I mean, it doesn't seem like the whole entire offensive line is playing as a unit, like last week with Andrew Norwell kind of having a rough go at it, Cam Robinson. It was a little bit of a rough game for him, but offensive line has to be better. Gardner Minshew, as good as he's been, he's got to take better care of the ball when it comes to the passing game, or not the passing game, but actually protecting the ball. He's been fantastic with the ball when it comes to passing the ball, through the air, but he's got a lot of fumbles. He had 3 fumbles last game. He's got a lot of fumbles on the year, too. I think before that, he had about 5 fumbles, but he only had 1 of those fumbles lost. Every single time he put the ball on the ground last game, we turned the ball over, and one was immediately a touchdown recovered by the defense. One gave the ball at the 22-yard line, which led to a score. So it was basically it basically led to 14 points, and we wound up losing the game by 7 points. So gotta gotta clean it up when it comes to those areas. But this game's gonna be a tough one, man. We actually are 1 point favorites, which is pretty surprising to me. Usually, I guess the home team, they get about 3 points given to them. So Jaguars are favored, which is pretty interesting. But of course, running back Leonard Fournette has been doing extremely well this year. I think he's third in the NFL. Actually, I don't know. I think he's third in the NFL in rushing yards. I think he's definitely leading the NFL, or leading the AFC in rushing yards right now. But as good as he's doing, I would really like to give Jaquan Armstead more of a chance when it comes to truly being a number 2 running back. Like, I think he only carried the ball once last game. Like, I think that last game, I think we should have done more play actions. It just seemed like a lot of our play calls were predictable when it comes to when we were going to run the ball. I think Quincy Williams needs more, or not Quincy Williams, but Jaquan Armstead needs more of a chance to run it out of the shotgun. And, that's one thing that he did really well at Temple, and it's one thing that Leonard Fournette doesn't really do very well. Leonard Fournette, he's just so much more of a downhill runner, and he's so much more of a give him the ball in space. He's not much of a player that is able to kind of a zone run scheme kind of guy where it's like he sees holes opens and he runs through them. He's not really like that. He's strictly downhill, and that's what he's best at. So hopefully they give Jaquan Armstead more of a chance. I'm loving, with this game, man, like our defense has to show up. Like our defense, it's hard to make out what they really are. They had excellent games against the Texans and Titans, but they were completely non-existent against the Chiefs. Last week against the Panthers, they were not there. They only showed up in the second half of the Denver Broncos game. They got absolutely torched last week, especially in the running game, and it's hard to know what to make out of the defense. And we got to get pressure on Teddy Bridgewater. And the unfortunate thing is we're not getting pressure. We're not getting home with 4 players. We're having to disguise all kinds of blitzes. And I do want to give a big shout out to our nickel cornerback DJ Hayden. The guy has been an absolute stud when it comes to him and blitzes. I mean, I think he had a sack last week. One thing I do remember is him on a 3rd down blitz. He got a hand on a ball and forced an incompletion. He's been a stud, but with the pass rushers that we have with Yannick Ngakoue, Calais Campbell, Josh Allen, I don't understand how we're not able to get home with 4 guys, and especially, their left tackle Greg Little was out last game, and they literally had a 6th round pick starting at left tackle who was a guard at South Carolina. Like, we got to start generating pressure. We're going against a pretty good offensive line. We're going against a better offense. Maybe the top end talent isn't as good because they don't have a Christian McCaffrey, but Alvin Kamara is still pretty damn good. Michael Thomas pretty damn good. Teddy Bridgewater, he's been playing. He's 3-0, so he's been playing pretty well, and he had his best week last week. So this defense, we have to figure it out. It's amazing that all of a sudden we're getting into shootouts. Our offense has all of a sudden become a great strength, and it just doesn't seem like our offense is. It seems like our units are off. Like when the defense is playing good, the offense isn't playing good. When the offense is playing good, the defense isn't playing good. So, you got to get the units in sync. I'm hoping for a complete game this game. I really don't want to fall to 2-4. That'd be very unfortunate. If we can get to 3-3, and if we want to look ahead, our last place schedule has fit us quite well because we have the Bengals and then the Jets coming up, 2 teams that are just absolutely atrocious this year. So, man, let's get this win under our belts. Let's get to 3-3, and then we got a pretty nice little schedule coming up after that. So, I'm excited about this game. I'll be back in TIAA Bank after not being there since week 1. Hope to see some of you guys there. And that's about all I got for this video, man. Just, stop Alvin Kamara, get some pressure on Teddy Bridgewater, let the offensive line, hopefully that we play better in the trenches, and, take care of the ball. You don't want to lose a turnover game. I'm pretty sure our defense isn't forcing many turnovers this year. I'm pretty sure we're getting killed in a turnover margin when it comes to, turnover differential. Haven't checked the stats, but that's it, man. Gardner Minshew Mania is still alive and well. Just gotta protect the ball, man. Keep 2 hands on the ball. Stop foaming as much. doing great with the ball through the air. DJ Chark, we got a number one wide receiver. That's all great on that. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. Go Jaguars. This is UC at Jaguar with JinJag.com. Go Jags.